Thanks to EA for sponsoring this video. Hey lovelies, it's Kate. Welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. It's time for another Lovestruck build. This is another build which is inspired by Mexico, but I built this one in Tatosa and I'm going to explain why. But this definitely has some Lovestruck vibes, and the cool thing about this build is that there are 3 individual buildings. So it's kind of like a really small village, and you could use it as a regular residential lot, or you could use the for rent features to turn this into separate apartments. So you can use this build in different types of ways. I hope you are all doing so well. I had so much fun building this, and I'm so excited to have my spark back and to be back to building so much. It's been so much fun, and it's also fun to use more than just the base game and the pack, because this way you can like really do what you want to create. I'm not saying that you need all packs or lots of packs to build something, but it's just different to have multiple packs at your hands. And I totally wanted to add different stuff while I was working on the early access builds, where I was thinking, okay, I'm missing this object from this and that pack, if that makes sense. So I'm just totally excited to show you what I'm doing here. So my main vision was to have a tiny village. I wanted this to be so cute and whimsical and just perfect. I just wanted this to be colorful and so cute, and the new windows from the Lovestruck expansion pack are perfect for this. They have beautiful colors and they're just really lovely for this type of style. And I just raised the terrain randomly. At this point, I just wanted to find the correct height for my building. So I just made sure that the hill which I created has a proper height, and then I started to build this house on top. And then, as you will see, I'm going to really shape the terrain a bit, and I'm going to add 2 more houses. So this is a really typical KateEmerald build where I'm just figuring out stuff while I'm working on the build. I rarely like completely shape the terrain first, and then I'm building the shells, and then I'm decorating them and add color. This is like how I usually build. So this is kind of the start of the whole village, and this is kind of the main building. I think it's the most spacious one, but I could be wrong. But I really love how the interior turned out. I really put a lot of time into decorating and adding so many details, and I just had the best time. Here you can see how I'm adding a flower bed to this building, and for this I've just used round foundation pieces, and I just added a fence. And these lovely flowers are from Live Edit and Debug from the Lovestruck expansion pack. And so is this beautiful vine which is growing on the roof, and this little tree which has so many blossoms. I think the same one is in Island Living actually, but you can now find it in the Debug and Live Edit of the Lovestruck expansion pack, which is so cool. This beautiful floor is also from the pack. In the Lovestruck expansion pack, we got new roof swatches, and they look so cool. But for this kind of traditional vibe, I really like to use this roof. I think it's from the base game. We also got a very similar one in the Jungle Adventure pack, I think. And yeah, here you just saw how I shaped the terrain. I just wanted to create a nice slope so the Sims will be able to walk up and they can enter the house actually. And I knew that I wanted to have another house on the left side without any terrain. So I wanted the main house to sit higher above the others. And I'm just building this one on the ground. I knew that I wanted to have a very interesting shape. All the houses are relatively small. They are not really tiny, but these are not big mansions. You can see that there is so much space being used just for landscaping and the terrain. So these 3 individual houses are very small. So if you like to play in smaller builds, this might be the perfect build for you. And I also wanted to make sure that each house has a different design. I feel like especially this one, the house on the left side, is kind of standing out a bit. It has a nice shape, and I think it's very interesting to have this rounded roof at the top. And I also, of course, wanted to use the new round pools, which is so amazing. So far, I still did not encounter any issues, no problems for me. The pools are very cool, no glitches, no bugs for me. Leave a comment down below if you've made another experience. Tell me what you think. But for me, they work like a charm, and I'm so happy about them. And I just knew that I would like to have a lovely pool for the house on the left side. I just had to use the new pools, and I just placed it over there. I'm going to change the shape a bit. The pool is going to end up just being round without the attachment on the right side. I wasn't really sure how to do this at first, and I have to say the biggest challenge here was to like really connect everything. Here at this point, for example, I feel like the house on the hill looks really lovely, and the house on the left side also starts to look quite nice, but when you then look at the gigantic fence in the center, it doesn't really look connected, and I don't really like the shape of the fence. And this is why I'm going to hide big parts of the fences with some trees and bushes just to make it look more organic, and so it just kind of flows together. I just didn't want this to look too fenced off. I don't know, I didn't like the really harsh border between the different areas. So I'm definitely going to use so many trees and bushes to make it look more natural. Also, in case you want to buy the Sims 4 Lovestruck expansion pack, but you haven't done so yet, or you might want to buy some other packs, I want to remind you that you can use my code EMERALD at checkout when you buy Sims 4 packs in the EA app or thesims.com. You can support me and my channel by simply entering the code, and I get a commission. Thank you so much. In case you want to consider using my code, thank you to everyone who has used my code already. Thank you so much for your big support, and generally just thank you for being here, for watching my videos, for leaving comments. Just thank you for everything that you've made possible for me. I owe you everything, and I love you all so much. Thank you. And here I'm applying terrain paint. I've decided to use this one because it looks so wonderful. I love the contrast between all the green plants and the red color of the roof and the floor. I think it just looks lovely and so dreamy. And I then raised the terrain a little bit again, so the next house is going to sit on terrain as well, but still much lower than the first one. You can here see how I'm using the terrain paint. So my initial idea was to raise this area to have a path going around it like this, and I then wanted to build the house in this area, and I'm going to do that, but I'm then going to pick up the house and change its position, because when I was looking at the build from behind, the third house was kind of hiding behind the first house, so I wanted this to also like shine and stand out. I wanted this to be visible, so I'm going to change the position. So you can simply move individual buildings on a lot. So at the top, when you click at the icon to rotate a lot, for example, below is another icon which you can click, and then you can select a individual building on a lot. It just has to be connected, so everything that is like connected to this building, the foundation, the walls, the roof, and everything can be moved. And this is how I first finished this, and then I just moved it so it sits in another area. And this is why I'm reshaping the paint a bit here. So now the path is not on the outside but on the inside, so the path and the house that I just built kind of switch positions, you could say. I've used the flat base game bush in so many areas. I like to use it to hide exposed terrain, so when you raise the terrain you have a very steep slope. I don't like the look usually, so this is why I like to use it. But here I also wanted everything to just look lush and green. I've used these debug rocks. I don't even know to which pack they belong. Initially I wanted to use the rocks which are a part of Lovestruck, but then I wanted rocks which have like a warmer color, so these just matched better. These are perfect for this type of build, and I then just added all these base game bushes because you can see that it's such a lovely contrast between the paths and the rocks, and then you have all these lush green bushes It also looks like some type of fencing. It's a nice way to like kind of create a border around a lot. So you can here see in the back, for example, I didn't use any additional fences. I just placed all these bushes strategically, and then I only used the fence in the front. So it's kind of like a small front yard. So each house has a small yard. The main house in the center has a small front yard, which is super cute. The second house even has a pool and a patio, so there's a proper garden. And then the last house that I just built has a small garden in the back, so you can really use this as rental lots, or you can use this for anything you want. But I'm just so happy that the Sims 4 for rent introduced rentals, because now this is a proper option. I love this type of build. I like to create small villages and everything, neighborhoods, and whenever I created these, I was like, okay, you could lock the door, and your grown up kids in your sim family could live in one of the houses, for example. One could be used by a butler, like this type of thing. And I was always trying to like come up with solutions for this. But now that we got the for rent expansion pack, you could like properly use this. You could be a landlord. You can do so many things in this game now, actually, and I'm so excited about this. And you can see that I've used this type of awning, which is from the pack. It comes in a lovely yellow color, and I used an umbrella for the garden, which is also yellow. So I just wanted there to be a pop of color. I love how colorful and happy this pack is. You know that I have a tendency to create these very minimalistic neutral builds a lot of the time. And I mean, not really properly minimalistic, because I have a tendency to add so many things to a build, but just like a very sleek, modern, neutral vibe. But this pack just makes me so happy, and I really try to incorporate more colors at first. I said in my early access videos that I was at first confused how to combine the furniture with this type of style, but I feel like the furniture is so versatile, and I cannot wait to use it for more builds. Here I've used a combination of different packs. I was going for a very, very rustic, comfy look. So I didn't want this to be modern or super colorful on the inside. All the pop of colors on the outside are windows and doors, the awning, just different items. Of course, the beautiful flowers, but you can see that this interior is very rustic. I was trying to create a very interesting kitchen here, so I've used different cabinets from Horse Ranch, I think, then also these shelves, just different things. And you can see that the platform is like super high on the right side. This is the first house actually, and I was raising the platform on the outside so I could have this elevated entrance, because I wanted to add some stairs. And then, of course, when you do this, there comes a point where you have to create a floor plan and you have to furnish, and this is when things can get tricky. At first I was super shocked, like when I noticed the platform, like I had totally forgotten what I like had got myself into when I was working on the exterior. But I was lucky that I found a solution. I like raised the foundation and added these stairs, which look diagonal because this building is diagonal, but I still had enough space to create a proper kitchen, everything. I was cluttering everything a little bit. I love the height difference and that there is a fence at the top and then you have the shelf below. I love this vibe. I don't know, I think it looks super cool. When I was little, when I was watching like different sitcoms, I always loved when the set had like a multi-level layout. I think, for example, Home Improvement had a set where there were like different platforms and stairs, and I always loved the look. And whenever I'm working on a build like this, I have to think back to this, and I really love this. It looks super cool. And this is like a very small living room. I was really trying to like really use all the space, but as I've said earlier, each house is relatively small compared to what I usually create. So this is not super spacious. You really have to make use of all the little space you have here. So if you want to like use this build, if you want to make changes, you really have to like figure this out, because you can see that the floor plan is a little bit weird. Yeah, but this is the very spacious bedroom. It's a very proper, beautiful bedroom. I've added a fireplace, so if you have like a single sim living in this house, and maybe just a couple, the space should suffice. So this should work out, but it's definitely so weird for me to work on these smaller builds. But I had so much fun decorating this. I have to say that Horse Ranch is such a great pack, and when you look at the furniture, everything matches so well, and I had the best time using these items to furnish this, because I was going for this very rustic look. I have to say once again that this is not like very authentic, but I felt like this matches the exterior and it looks very cute. This is another house. So each house obviously has a kitchen, a bathroom, a bedroom. One house has 2 bedrooms, including bunk beds, so a small family could live in there. So I was really trying to make use of all the space that I had on my hands here. Here's even a small desk. So I think that this is here the most spacious house. This is probably the third one that I built, but I could be wrong here. No, it's the one with the pool. It's the second one you can see here. There's a floating shelf in the background. And when I was recording the clips, like the one you saw in the beginning, where I was showing you the finished house, I think that the shelf is still floating there, but I noticed too late. But like in the screenshots, it should be gone probably, but I definitely removed it already. So if you should use this build when you download this from the gallery, the shelf is gone. I just noticed this. I don't know, I used the shelves to create some custom freezers, like some type of trim going around the house, and this is how this happened. And this is the third house, the third kitchen I'm building here. This one has a more neutral, lighter vibe. I just didn't want to replicate the other houses too much, so I was going for this white wooden kitchen here. So this is not like super dark and wooden. This is a bit more airy and just little bit different. You can see the stairs in the corner, and I actually extended all houses by this tiny section, or at least 2 of them, because the builds were diagonal, and it's a nightmare to add stairs to diagonal houses, especially when the houses are too small. Like when you have a gigantic mansion and you have a diagonal section, you could definitely place stairs anywhere. You have so much space and you can just place your stairs, and then you kind of create the floor plan around it. But these houses were so small that I was really struggling to make the stairs work. So I simply added a small room to 2 houses to have them in the corner like this, because I was already running out of space. And I think it's worse than having a diagonal stair like like in the middle of the room, and it's like taking up so much space. It's horrible. And yeah, this is another bedroom. I've used another bed for this one. As I said, I just wanted every house to be a little different, but it's still on theme and it still matches the outside. And yeah, this video is slowly coming to an end. I've added lots of screenshots. This build is available in the gallery. My ID is KateEmerald. This build is CC free and unmodded. You can also grab the tray files from my Patreon. They are in early access for 2 weeks, and if you visit my Patreon page, you can find so many free tray files already. But thank you to anyone who wants to support me, of course. And yeah, let me know if you will use this build. What do you think? What do you think about the pack? And just leave a comment down below. I'm so excited to hear from you. I love you all so much, and I hope I see you in the next video. Bye bye.